Ah, the first sequel to a hit game. Most will cynically dismiss them as more of the same, but when I was growing up that wasn't always the case. Sure, games like Metal Gear 2 and Sonic 2 were just like their predecessors, but bigger, better, and badasser. But off in Nintendo land it was often a different story. Metroid 2 was a little different from the original, Zelda 2 was very different, but both are still considered absolute masterpieces. But Castlevania 2, not so much. But don't take my word for it. Take his. But what about the very first sequel to one of the most popular 8-bit RPGs of all, Final Fantasy? Well, the fact that the sequel never came to the NES surely isn't a good sign. Plus, it's one of the ones that fanboys routinely pan the most. But then again, the same is true of Final Fantasy VIII, and that's one of my favorite games in the series. Actually, it's my very favorite. So there's hope for the sequel to this, right? Right? Immediately the bullshit dived into is, as the opening scene shows our party getting their asses handed to them straight away. Sure, lots of games start like this, but here, it's merely a taste of the soul rape that is to come. After the initial story bits, you'll quickly notice there's no levels. At all. Progression of your party is based on this principle. The more something's used, the better it gets. Sounds reasonable, right? But you'll soon notice how this applies to hit points. Once about half a character's HP goes down the toilet, his or her max HP will go up a bit. Thus, there's only one reliable way to build up their max HP. Have them smack the shit out of each other like super deformed versions of the Three Stooges. That is, unless the monsters get so bored watching your party members ass each other, they just run off. Sure, you can argue that Square was trying to be innovative, but let's see if this idea caught on. Does Solid Snake get a longer life bar after blowing his own ass up with C4? Nope. What about Link? Does he get more heart containers after frying himself with his own damn bombs? Nuh-uh. Gee, I guess this pwn your own asses idea didn't stick after all. But that's only the tip of an iceberg made of frozen behemoth piss. Your characters don't have levels, but the magic spells you buy sure do. And to raise them, the idea is to continuously use them. To get them powerful enough, this would take way too long. Luckily, there's a glitch in the Famicom version. Target something with a spell, then cancel it. The game will still register the spell's power going up a point or so. Do this so a spell's power hits 100 points by battle's end, and that spell will go up a level. Ugh, words cannot describe how fucking tedious this is. Oh, my frontal lobe. Here, let me speed this shit up. There, Sonic's Fire Spell and Amy and Tails Heal 2 all went up a level. Now, any classic RPG is expected to require some time investment, but who the hell thought people would enjoy seeing an orgy of self-pwnage coupled with having to exploit a fucking glitch? It's beyond embarrassing! But wait, we're not done yet. In this RPG, your stats actually can decrease. Yeah, they can go down. Use weapons too much in a fight, and your stats for magic are liable to go down. Use too much magic, your strength's liable to drop. Now, when magic stats are lost, you can usually fix it fast by using that targeting glitch a dozen times, like I'm doing here for Sonic. But why should I have to bother doing that? Do the piss-poor game mechanics stop there? Oh, but of course not. There's an annoying holdover from the original, involving how party members will still target a monster that's already dead or ran away, and the result is summed up in one word. Ineffective? You fucking cock-gobblers! Ineffective again? Sons of bitches! Ineffective? Your mother! Okay, what do I gotta fight before I can enter my city? Cockatrices, eh? Do their attacks petrify my party? Yep. No biggie, the chick can just cast heal and... What? The... ass? The spell's at level 5 and it can't cure petrification in battle? Okay, I think I got a soft in stock, I'll just use that and... Are you fucking with me? I can only use items equipped to a character? And now my whole party's fucking stoned. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Why not have a cactuar come along and teabag them now? Let's liberate our nostrils from the piles of chocobo turds for a moment and look at a far better sequel, like FF6. I never liked the Esper system much, but at least I could still milk it, pimp out my party with magic power, and, well, look at the end result. Look at the damage done to Kefka each turn. Come on, I know you want to say it. It's over 9,000 penis. Whoops, wrong clip. But don't expect any of that magical kickassery in FF2. Here, magic attacks are practically useless, no matter how much you level them. Look, here's Flare at level 6. Useless! This even holds true for enemy magic near the maximum of 16. Ugh, you done yet, you fucking reject bubbles from Zelda? Unfortunately, you'll still have to level up certain spells, because against some bosses, swords and arrows are about as useful as shooting straw wrappers. You'll need certain spells to be strong enough to exploit weaknesses, like here. This is supposed to be Aereo. How can this be considered rewarding, leveling up spells that are only useful for a handful of boss fights? Now let's talk about the graphics and sound. Well, I wouldn't exactly say the music rapes your 8th cranial nerve, but I seriously doubt even hardcore Square fanboys will listen to this as a drive to their next cosplay event. But the graphics. I know it's not kosher to diss the visuals of such an old game, but let's compare it to the towering goddess of all 8-bit RPGs, Phantasy Star. Lush backgrounds, fluid attack animations. I know it's not fair to expect the NES to perform as well graphically as the Master System. Enemy animations are probably out of the question, but how come the only detail in battle is that little strip at the top? Why is my party standing on a black, empty void? Speaking of empty voids, how about a plot that goes nowhere? Apologists for this game will claim it had a deep plot for its time, but seriously, in an age where save the fucking princess was the de facto standard, stop the evil empire isn't all that impressive. Besides, saving Peach and Zelda's sweet asses was, you know, fun, and unlike, say, almost every other Final Fantasy game in existence, the plot doesn't get any deeper than this. To make up for its unoriginality, the game tries to tug at your heartstrings by killing off almost every disposable fourth party member, but it doesn't work. And no, it's not because of the Bronze Age 2D graphics. After all, I found Galuf's final stand in FF5 way more shocking than Aerith getting skewered. But here, I felt nothing.
You feel nothing! It must not even compute for you.
What I did feel was never-ending frustration due to horribly designed dungeons. Except for the last area, Pandemonium, they all felt the same. On top of that, there's usually doors everywhere that lead to completely empty rooms, and half the time monsters are set to gang rape you as you try to get out. Unfortunately, sometimes the stairs you need are behind one of these doors. The entire game smacks of all-around bad design choices. Did you know that you get Excalibur from the wife of your old Dragoon partner? Just by saying the right word to her? You'd expect one of the best swords has to be earned. How the fuck am I supposed to know this broad'll just hand it over? As for the other big sword, Masamune, you have to walk along this path through a bunch of fake walls. Don't give me any hints or anything. Just let me guess. Is there anything good to be said about this game? Yeah, there's some bright spots. That whole keyword system I mentioned was pretty inventive for the time, and some of the early story missions revolving around sabotaging a big airship were pretty damn cool. Plus, you see some historic firsts for the series, like the debut of famous monsters like the Behemoth, as well as the start of using chocobos and meeting a smack-talking airship operator named Sid. Of course, you only really need the chocobos a couple times, and Sid won't hand over the airship until he's dead, right at the end of the game. Speaking of the end, let's skip right to the Emperor's last stand. Yes, we will strike you down with all of our hatred, and our journey toward the dark side will be complete. It's a final battle that requires strength, skill, cunning. Unless you got hold of two rare weapons called blood swords. Then by the second round with the final boss, this happens. What a load. It's as if the developers knew very few people would have patience for the self-owning character progression, and had to throw in a stupidly cheap way to knock off the final boss. From top to bottom, this game is a train wreck, even by 1988 standards. If ever a game I've reviewed called for generic, mildly amusing, irate gamer-style cart destruction, this is it. Oh, but wait, even that small pleasure is denied me. This never got released in America on the NES. Unfortunately, neither did its sequel. Aside from that one complaint about graphics, Final Fantasy III fixed every single problem I had with this game, and as Square's time on the Famicom came to a close, the series went on to spawn some of the best RPGs I've ever played. I think you see the pattern here. A Final Fantasy game has to have either a job system or a trippy sci-fi setting to float my boat. Thus, FF13 should make my brain explode. Once I can buy it without breaking the bank, I'll let you know. In the meantime, I settled for sampling this 22-year-old bucket of fuck, which I can only give a 4.5 out of 10. I willingly let this game waterboard my soul, so you all need not endure the same torture. You're fucking welcome!